The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and FreedomSlips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, FreedomSlips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Hi there, it's Christine J Hart, and it's the Valkyrie show, Valkyries at Revolution Radio. It's all a bit weird tonight because I got my producer saying, "Oh, are you on air?" And he was going to produce, so he's out there in Mississippi. So I don't know what he's doing or whether he can hear me or not. I've got Max Spiers as a guest tonight, and he is going to be talking about Draco reptilians and also the Norse gods, and also going to cover addiction and MK Ultra. So he's I can't say his name. Max is standing by, but I'm just waiting for my producer. But he doesn't seem to be. Coming in. This is always the way, isn't it? Thursday, unfortunate day for me. I have to rush around and I managed to get back here. But of course, it's just me, and then there's nobody else. Oh, hang on. Oh, oh God. Okay, so nobody can hear me. Okay, I'm just going to ask somebody if they can hear me on air, because I feel like I'm coming out okay. You may not have had it in reality, but I'm working on it. Hang on, I think. Oh, okay. 1 sec. So, I don't know what's. So sorry about that. That's really weird. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know what Patrick is doing, but let's try and bring. I'm pretty sure I'm on air. Let's try and bring Patrick on to my group call. Hi, Patrick. I think you're on air with me now, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't know where. Yeah, we may be on the air because I see Studio A up there. I just need to get Max on.
Yeah, I can't hear you very well. I don't know if your microphone's not working.
I'm right here.
That's a bit better. Louder?
Well, that's the best I can do, actually.
Okay, fine. I think everything's coming through, isn't it?
It should be. I think we're on the air.
Yeah, I would hope so.
So, go ahead and let me see if I can get Max in here.
Okay, do you want to do that, or shall I?
Wait. I got... In what call? Look, let me start everything over, okay?
Well, shall I get Max? Or...
No, I have to get him. That's why I needed his contact, because I'm going to have the server when I finally get it.
Okay, but I think that I've got the server. Shall I just keep the server?
No, hang it up. Let me get it.
Okay. Will you be quick though, Patrick?
I'll be as fast as I can.
Okay. Bye, guys. See you in a minute.
Hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, we should be on air now. So y'all.
Okay, great. Hi, it's Christine Joan Hart, and it's Valkyrie's Revolution Radio. And sorry for the hiccupy start, but we're now flying at 1,000 feet. Thank you. We've got Max Spiers as a guest today, so without further ado, I'll just get straight on with him. Max, how are you this evening? Oh, I can't barely hear you.
I know, that's the thing. So let me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Max?
Yes.
It's really, really bad sound quality. Is there any way you can make that a bit better, louder? Huh?
Well, Christine, I told you.
You're where?
I'm trying to get it so that we have good sound. But,
Patrick, what's he saying?
I'm hearing about the same thing you are. I can't tell. Why don't you just start?
quality. I'm having issues with the sound quality. I'm trying to fix that. So give me 5 seconds. And
Take
then,
your time, Max, and then you'll be along, and Christine can start. Maybe it's up to her.
Okay, sure. Yeah, fine. Just catching up on the gossip with you guys this week. I've been all week preparing, helping Miles Johnson out with the Basis show, trying to get the press there. I've invited the BBC, I've invited Channel 4 and ITV. So that's documentary makers Helen Hill from ITV, Sylvia Jones from BBC, and Graham Johnson from Channel 4. So I've got those guys possibly coming. I don't know, they might not be coming with this kind of thing. And someone was saying, the girl who pulled out was saying, about mainstream media being the enemy. What you have to do, or will always be stuck in a corner whispering at each other. What you have to do
can you
is
hear me now? Can you? Is it
oh,
clear? Can you?
sorry. No, you're still pretty silent. You're still quiet.
I said sorry. I'm
Oh,
still
don't
working
worry.
on.
We'll fiddle away. I'll come back to you in a sec.
Okay.
What we have to do is bulldoze and manipulate mainstream media and try and push through what we want to push through. That's the way it has to be done. That's the way I'm going to do it. And do we all risk looking stupid on there? Maybe, possibly, but it's worth the risk, I believe. They can't actually totally distort somebody and what they're saying. They can maybe cut, but that still doesn't stop a message from coming through and stop someone's energy coming through. And I, for one, are not afraid of them. So they're coming along, but because nobody else wants them there, they're only going to be filming on Saturday morning, which is Max Spiers, Sarah Adams, and myself speaking. So and then they will go. So nobody else is going to be there. So anybody that doesn't want to be on TV, probably best not to.
Kristen, does it sound
Sorry.
now?
Oh, that's much better.
I connected and reconnected. So, if that sounds good, then we're good.
Yeah, it's coming in and out. Sort of. It's okay. It's sort of good. It's not fantastic. What, Patrick?
It's workable.
It
No, it's not work. I mean, why it's not perfect? There's no reason why it shouldn't.
should be perfect. Yeah, you're coming in and out.
The spots. I'm in a spot. Into Wi-Fi.
Was. Yeah, you're
Okay.
now, but at least for a minute there, you had continuity in your statements.
Well, you know what? I'll just talk louder. I'll just talk louder.
Yeah, if you talk louder, that's a bit better.
Well, yeah, there's me talking louder.
Yeah, you have to talk louder. I was just telling people about the conference and the mainstream media coming along and how it's best not to, be in fear of them.
Absolutely not. And also all the someone saying I'm wanting to be on the conference because so and so is on this, because I'm on the stage, because that, and the division that's being caused. I feel when we're uniting at this point. The
I can't hear you at all now. I got the bit about being united. We should be united. It's so much bickering and egos.
Patrick, can you hear me?
Well, that's better when you shout. Patrick? He's gone to sleep. Okay.
No, I had my mic on mute. Yes,
okay.
I can hear you, Max, but you'll get like 4 or 5 words out, and then the sentence will break, and so it's hard to make get any continuity out of it. Okay. I'm going to ask him to call back. If he calls
Okay.
me,
Okay, it's a shame. I will carry on. Oh, he's back.
Okay.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
No,
Can you hear me?
no, it's bad.
it's broken up.
Oh,
Is there any way you could go to a different spot?
Or
yes,
maybe,
I'll tell you what, I'll go to a different spot. But,
or use
Okay,
look,
go to a different
look, I'm
spot.
gonna
Or,
go. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here. We'll try.
a telephone might work.
1 second. 1 second. Wouldn't. I had some really interesting stuff on. Can you hear me, Riley? I got some interesting on Nordic. On some unusual as well. Oh,
wow, it's really bad. Patrick, it's bad, isn't it?
What I would suggest is to use.
I'm sitting next to the actual Wi-Fi, so it's not me.
No,
Oh, no,
the
it's
one thing
okay.
that may help this, Max, is to use a telephone instead of trying to come in on Skype. And I can give you two numbers. I'll give you my Skype number.
Okay, I could try that. Yeah. Okay. Let me write these numbers down. Let me write them down. Right. You got this down for me. Okay, go ahead, Trix. Okay, you got a pen.
Yeah, it's in your box. It's in your private Skype box. I put it there. If you want me to tell you, it's 337-335-0085.
Gosh, this is really bad, isn't it? I can't hear either of them. I'm going to carry on talking.
You can't hear me?
Well, yeah, I can hear you when you shout, Patrick, but otherwise you're pretty quiet.
That's odd too, because generally I do come in loud enough on my microphone.
You're loud now.
Okay.
What are we doing with Max?
I asked him to call back on my international Skype number.
Sure. Are you going to hang up on him? I can see him on the screen.
Yeah, let me do that. I'll just hang you up on the screen and call in on that number with a telephone and see what happens. Okay.
Wow, that was really bad, wasn't it? What a shame, because he's a good guest. Yeah, so stand by, everybody. He'll probably come back in a minute. He's going to try and ring in. Yeah, so I was just talking about basis. So they're only coming to film the three of us on Saturday. So anybody who doesn't want to see themselves on TV, probably don't come in during that time, or make it known that you don't want to be filmed, because they will probably be cameras there. I don't think all three, but actually I've pitched for all three, because that way it just normally ends up with one. But it's really hard to get mainstream media interested in anything. So it's like masses and masses of hard work. They're not beating the door to get to us, and we're like, oh no, we don't want you. It's like we've really worked hard to get them here, because everything needs to go on mainstream. More people need to be reached, and it can't just stay small. And so I'm lucky enough that people are interested in my book, so I've brought them along to Basis. So I'm lucky. If anybody wants to read my book, it's called Order of the Valkyrie, and it's on Amazon. So give it a look. I've heard that Simon Parkes might be coming on Sunday to Miles Johnson's Basis, so that is quite interesting for anybody who would like to meet Simon. He's an interesting guy. What else have I got to say? Not much, because I had Max coming on to talk. Yeah, so that's it. Haven't really got much other gossip apart from to say Miles Johnson was in a paddy all week. He was really stressful and put lots of stress on me. And it took me ages to get over that stress. And I went swimming and I burnt my face. And so my face is now burnt. And so I'm sitting here with a burnt face. As I was coming in, I just stung my hand on a goddamn nettle. So I've got my hand is throbbing and my face is burnt. And I'm sitting here trying to work out a show, but never mind. So just to say that basis should be quite interesting. There should be the TV people there, and hopefully we will get it out. I'll be talking about MI6 involvement in phone hacking and my Monarch past, and sort of bringing the two together, and then talking about state control and the Draco control over all of us through programming. So that will be my talk, but hopefully will be filmed, and hopefully that will be put out on YouTube as well, because you never know when it goes through mainstream that they won't at the last minute decide, we don't want that, or that's too kooky, or this, no, we don't want that. So that is really quite a long pitch, and if it does get into the back of the net, all well and good, but I don't know, it probably won't. So but it's something that I feel that I have to try to do, at least, because I really think it should. I don't like standing in corners and whispering and just, giving out to a certain amount of people something when probably there's lots of people out there that need it. I mean, I was reached by somebody who came to me on Fritz Springmeier's Facebook, and if it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't have known anything about Monarch or the programs, or that I was one of them, or anything. I would have carried on in my own sweet way and really ended up having quite a sort of different life than the life I'm having now. Even though I'm poor, I might have had money, I suppose, if I'd have carried on the way I was going. But I'm glad that I'm awake. I'm glad that I'm awake, and I'm glad I know that the Draco invasion has already happened, and they're among us, and they're controlling us, and it's pretty dark, and it's going to get darker. Even though I'm okay, Jack, and a lot of people are okay, there's masses of people that are suffering and have had their worlds torn apart because it's getting quite dark here. And I want to be one of the people that are fighting. I just don't want to be a useless eater sitting around thinking about dinner parties or curtains and tables, and then get really, really old and realize that I've spent my life thinking about curtains and tables and just being just nothing. I want to get involved in the spiritual battle, and I want to really, really fight hard. I'm quite passionate about that, and it doesn't matter what age you are, you can just get involved in the spiritual battle and start swinging your sword and really get stuck in. I get targeted myself, and I do come in for different attacks. I have a stalker. He's hosting. I know he's hosting because he's not really human anymore. And when I'm dealing with people, when I get attacked by somebody, I can feel that Draco energy, that it's a negative feminine. It's very poisonous. It's very arrogant, and it just strikes darkness within me, and it can frustrate, it can annoy, it can ruin and stress you out and just attack your life. But we are lucky that we can call for help. I mean, I cast some runes last night, and I got the protection rune, and I realized that we don't have to sit there and just put up with being targeted individuals. We can call on higher powers because we are targeted individuals, and we can say, right, okay, I'm targeted here by dark forces and I need help. And you can call on the higher and call them down and ask them to put a force field around you that reflects back at these slaps that you get. These energy slaps is what they are. You don't just have to sit there and suck them up. You can fight back, and you can ask that higher ones send you a force field. Although we're pretty much we're on our own down here. If you are being targeted, that does give you that edge that you are allowed to ask for that because you've been targeted. So you are allowed to draw down energy. And I will at some point do a YouTube showing you how to do that. But I haven't got a camera at the moment, and I need to be out and about in the open air. So anyway, so that is Miles Johnson Conference, and that is in August, and Simon Parkes hopefully will be coming along to that. I wasn't supposed to tell anyone that, but because I've got nothing to say on the show, I've let it slip. And it's Revenge on Miles, who has been really quite hard work this week and stressing me out. He stressed me out so much on Monday that I've just felt the effects of that all week. But then he did actually help me out with my boiler, and he did give me advice about that. So he has put it right. He's going through a hard time at the moment, and it always seems as if he's not himself. He is, not his funny, jokey self. I don't know if any of you noticed on the last show, he was a bit moody then, but his moodiness seems to have increased as time has passed. So I hope that will get better. So, Patrick, where are we with Max?
I'm just waiting. He said he had to go get a phone somehow. He's waiting on a phone, were his words. So what that means exactly, I'm not clear on.
Okay. Excuse me. I'm supping Coke. Nothing stronger.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's so fizzy.
All good.
Oh God. Well, he was my guest, so
we got a lot of time. Still.
Yeah, we have got a lot of time. I don't really know what to talk about actually. I did have a book I could have read from, but I don't know where that has gone. The Way of the Shaman. I could read from it. Should I go and get it?
Sure, why not?
Okay. You wait there. Okay. You could sing a song or something.
Well, actually, while I'm waiting for Christine to get her book, this is freedomslips.com, where you will find Revolution Radio, which is what you are listening to. And we are the biggest user-supported station on the internet and have been for 5 years and 6 months. And in order to stay here, we need your help. We need $2,650 a month. We're up to $685 right now, or $665. I don't have my glasses on, but it's one of those two. Looks good, though. So far, so good. It's the 7th of July, and so we're still a little ahead of the curve. We need about $88 a day. But please, folks, help us. Please keep this coming. Because if we're not here, you're not going to hear us. And ain't none of us here gets paid 1 cent to do what we do. We do it because we love doing it.
We do it because we're mugs. I'm joking. I'm back. Right. Okay. Where are we? Okay. And I've got my glasses. I was going to read this the other week, but gosh, I think I left it in the car, and it was quite interesting. I do talk a lot about shamanism, and so I'm going to read the start of this out. Oh, okay. Okay. Right, this is quite interesting. So can you hear me okay, Patrick? Can you hear me okay, Patrick?
Yes,
can you hear me okay, Patrick?
Can hear you fine, Christine.
Okay, jolly good. Okay, I'm going to read. Okay, sorry, this show's been a bit choppy. Never mind, but this is really good. Okay, so just lay back and listen. This is the words of, never mind, I'll just read it. It's the words of a guy who went to Peru. Was it Peru? Somewhere like that. And he took ayahuasca, a little bit like David Icke took ayahuasca. So I'm going to read from this book. It's a really good book. It's a bestseller. I'm not going to tell you who's written it. Perhaps at the end. I had been living for the better part of a year in a Conobo Indian village beside a remote lake off a tributary of the Rio Ucayali. My anthropological research on the culture of the Conobo had been going well, but my attempts to elicit information on their religion met with little success. The people were friendly but reluctant to talk about the supernatural. Finally, they told me that if I really wished to learn about the supernatural, I must take the shaman's sacred drink made from ayahuasca, the soul vine. I agreed with both curiosity and trepidation, for they warned me that the experience would be very frightening. The next morning, my friend Thomas, the kind elder of the village, went into the forest to cut the vines. Before leaving, he told me to fast, a light breakfast and no lunch. He returned midday with enough ayahuasca vines and leaves of the kawa plants to fill a 15-gallon pot. He boiled them all afternoon until only about a quart of dark liquid remained. This he poured into an old bottle and left it to cool until sunset, when he said we would drink it. The Indians muzzled the dogs in the village so that they could not bark. The noise of barking dogs could drive a man who had taken ayahuasca mad, I was told. The children were cautioned to be quiet, and silence came over the small community with the setting of the sun. As the brief equatorial twilight was replaced by darkness, Thomas poured about a third of the bottle into a gourd bowl and gave it to me. All the Indians were watching. I felt like Socrates amidst his Athenian compatriots, except in the hemlock. It occurred to me that one of the alternate names people in the Peruvian Amazon gave ayahuasca was the Little Death. I drank the potion quickly. It had a strange, slightly bitter taste. I then waited for Thomas to take his turn, but he said that he decided not to participate after all. What a sneaky creep. So I'm adding that bit myself. They had me lie down on the bamboo platform under the great thatched roof of the communal house. The village was silent except for the chirping of crickets and the distant calls of a howler monkey deep in the jungle. As I stared upward into the darkness, faint lights of light appeared. They grew sharper, more intricate, and burst into brilliant colours. Sound came from far away, a sound like a waterfall which grew stronger and stronger until it filled my ears. Just a few minutes earlier, I had been disappointed, sure that the ayahuasca was not going to have any effect on me. Now the sound of rushing water flooded my brain. My jaw began to feel numb, and the numbness was moving up to my temples. Overhead, the faint lines became brighter and gradually interlaced to form a canopy resembling a geometric mosaic of stained glass. The bright violet hues formed an ever-expanding roof above me. Within this celestial cavern, I heard the sound of water grow louder, and I could see dim figures engaged in shadowy movements. As my eyes seemed to adjust to the gloom, the moving scene resolved itself into something resembling a huge funhouse, a supernatural carnival of demons. In the centre, presiding over the activities and looking directly at me, was a gigantic, grinning crocodilian head from whose cavernous jaws gushed a torrential flood of water. Slowly the waters rose, and so did the canopy above them, until the scene metamorphosized into a simple duality of blue sky above and sea below. All creatures had vanished. Then, from my position near the surface of the water, I began to see two strange boats, wafting back and forth, floating through the air towards me, coming closer and closer. They slowly combined to form a single vessel with a huge dragon-headed prow, not unlike that of a Viking ship, set amidships with a square sail. Gradually, as the boat gently floated back and fro above me, I heard a rhythmic swishing sound and saw that it was a giant galley with several hundred oars moving back and forth in cadence with the sound. I became conscious, too, of the most beautiful singing I have ever heard in my life, high-pitched and ethereal, emanating from myriad voices on board the galley. As I looked more closely at the deck, I could make out a large number of people, with the heads of blue jays and bodies of humans, not unlike the bird-headed gods of ancient Egypt tomb paintings. At the same time, some energy essence began to float from my chest up into the boat. Although I believed myself to be an atheist, I was completely certain that I was dying, and that the bird-headed people had come to take my soul away on the boat. While the soul flow continued from my chest, I was aware that the extremities of my body were growing numb. Starting with my arms and legs, my body slowly began to feel like it was turning to solid concrete. I could not move or speak. Gradually, as the numbness closed on my chest towards my heart, I tried to get my mouth to ask for help, to ask the Indians for an antidote to the ayahuasca. Try as I might, however, I could not marshal my abilities sufficiently to make a word. Simultaneously, my abdomen seemed to be turning to stone, and I had to make a tremendous effort to keep my heart beating. I began to call my heart my friend, my dearest friend of all, to talk to it, to encourage it to beat with all the power remaining at my command. I became aware of my brain. I felt physically that it had become compartmentalized into 4 separate and distinct levels. At the uppermost surface was the observer and commander, which was conscious of the condition of my body and was responsible for the attempt to keep my heart going. It perceived, but purely as a spectator, the visions emanating from what seemed to be the nether portions of my brain. Immediately below the topmost level, I felt a numbed layer, which seemed to have been put out of commission by the drug. It just wasn't there. The next level down was the source of my visions, including the soul boat. Now I was virtually certain I was about to die. As I tried to accept my fate, an even lower portion of my brain began to transmit more visions and information. I was told that this new material was being presented to me because I was dying, and therefore safe to receive these revelations. These were the secrets reserved for the dying and the dead, I was informed. I could only very dimly perceive the givers of these thoughts, giant reptilian creatures reposing sluggishly at the lowermost depths at the back of my brain where it met the top of my spinal column. I could only barely see them in what seemed to be gloomy, dark depths. Then they projected a visual scene in front of me. First, they showed me the planet Earth as it was eons ago, before there was any life on it. I saw an ocean, barren land, and a bright blue sky. Then black specks dropped from the sky by the hundred and landed in front of me on the barren landscape. I could see that the specks were actually large, shiny black creatures with stubby, pterodactyl-like wings and huge whale-like bodies. Their heads were not visible to me. They flopped down, utterly exhausted from their trip, resting for eons. They explained to me in a kind of thought language that they were fleeing from something out there. They had come to the planet Earth to escape. The creatures then showed me how they created life on the planet in order to hide within the multitudinous forms and thus disguise their presence. Before me, the magnificence of plant and animal creation, speciation, hundreds of millions of years of activity took place on a scale with a vividness impossible to describe. I learned that the dragon-like creatures were thus inside all forms of life, including man. They were the true masters of humanity and the entire planet. We humans were but the receptacles and servants of these creatures. For this reason, they could speak to me from within myself. These revelations, welling up from the depths of my mind, alternated with visions of the floating galley, which had almost finished taking my soul on board. The boat, with its blue jay-headed deck crew, was gradually drawing away, pulling my life force along as it headed towards a large ford flanked by barren, worn hills. I knew I had only a moment more to live. Strangely, I had no fear of the bird-headed people. They were welcome to have my soul if they could keep it. But I was afraid that somehow my soul might not remain on the horizontal plane of the fjord, but might, through processes unknown but felt and dreaded, be acquired or reacquired by the dragon-like denizens of the depths. I suddenly felt my distinctive humanness, the contrast between my species and the ancient reptilians. I began to struggle against returning to the ancient ones, who were beginning to feel increasingly alien and evil. Each heartbeat was a major undertaking. I turned to human help. With an unimaginable last effort, I barely managed to utter one word to the Indians. Medicine! I saw them rushing around to make an antidote, and I knew they could not prepare it in time. I needed a guardian who could defeat the reptilians, and I frantically tried to conjure up a powerful being to protect me against the alien reptilians. One appeared before me, and at that moment the Indians forced my mouth open and poured the antidote into me. Gradually the reptilians disappeared back. The soul boat and the fjord were no more. I relaxed. The antidote radically eased my condition, but it did not prevent me from having many additional visions of a more superficial nature. These were manageable and enjoyable. I made fabulous journeys at will through distant regions, even out into the galaxy, created incredible architecture, and implored sardonically grinning demons to realize my fantasies. Often I found myself laughing aloud at the incongruities in my adventures. Finally, I slept. Rays of sunlight were piercing the holes in the palm thatch roof when I awoke. I was still lying on the bamboo platform, and I heard the normal morning sounds all around me. The Indians conversing, babies crying, and a rooster crowing. I was surprised to discover that I felt refreshed and peaceful. As I lay there looking up at the beautiful woven pattern of the roof, the memories of the previous night drifted across my mind. I momentarily stopped myself from remembering more in order to get my tape recorder from a duffel bag. As I dug into the bag, several of the Indians greeted me smiling. An old woman, Thomas, his wife, gave me a bowl of fish and plantain soup for breakfast. It tasted extraordinarily good. Then I went back to the platform, eager to put my night's experiences on tape. The work of recall went easily, except for one portion that I could not remember. It remained blank as though a tape had been erased. I struggled for ages to remember what happened in that part of the experience. I virtually wrestled it back into my consciousness. The recalcitrant material turned out to be the dragon-like creatures, including the revelation of their role in the evolution of human life on this planet and their innate domination of living matter, including man. I was highly excited at rediscovering this material and could help not feel that I was not supposed to bring it back from the nether regions of the mind. I even had a peculiar sense of fear for my safety, yes, don't we all, because I now possessed a secret that creatures had indicated that was only intended for the dying. I immediately decided to share this knowledge with others so the secret would not reside in me alone and my life would not be in jeopardy. I put my outboard motor on a dugout canoe and left for an American evangelist mission station nearby. Excuse me. I arrived about noon. The couple at the mission, Bob and Millie, were a cut above the average evangelists sent from the United States. Hospitable, humorous, and compassionate. I told them my story. When I described the reptilian with water gushing out of his mouth, they exchanged glances, reached for their Bible, and read to me the following line from chapter 12 in the book of Revelation. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood. They explained to me that the word serpent was synonymous in the Bible with the word dragon and Satan. I went on with my narrative. When I came to the part about the dragon-like creatures fleeing an enemy somewhere beyond the earth and landing here to hide, Bob and Millie became excited again. They read me more from the same passage in the book of Revelation. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast onto the earth, and his angels with him. I listened with surprise and wonder. The missionaries in turn seemed to be awed by the fact that an atheistic anthropologist, by taking the drink of the witch doctor's ayahuasca, could apparently have revealed to him some holy material in the book of Revelation. When I had finished my account, I was relieved to have shared new knowledge, but I was also exhausted. I fell asleep on the missionary's bed, leaving them to continue their discussion of the experience. That evening, as I returned to the village in my canoe, my head began to throb in rhythm with the noise of the outboard motor. I thought I was going mad. I had to stick my fingers in my ears to avoid the sensation. I slept well, but the next day I noticed a numbness or pressure in my head. I was now eager to solicit a professional opinion from the most supernaturally knowledgeable of the Indians, a blind shaman who had made many excursions into the spirit world with the aid of the ayahuasca drink. It seemed only proper that a blind man might be able to be my guide to the world of darkness. I went to his hut, taking my notebook with me, and described my highlights to him. Vision by vision, excuse me, segment by segment. At first I only told him about The boat. When I came to the dragon-like creatures, I skipped their arrival from space and said, there were these giant black animals, something like great big bats, longer than the length of this house, who said they were the true masters of the world. He stared up towards me with his sightless eyes and said with a grin, oh, but they're always saying that, but they are only the masters of the outer darkness. He waved his hand casually towards the sky. I felt a chill along the lower part of my spine, for I'd not yet told him that I'd seen them. I was stunned. What I had experienced was already familiar to this man. Known to him from his own explorations of the same hidden world for which I had ventured. From that moment on, I decided to learn everything I could about shamanism, and there was something more that encouraged me in my new quest. After I recounted my entire experience, he told me that he did not know of anyone who encountered and learned so much on his first ayahuasca journey. You must surely be a shaman, he said. Okay, so that was an excerpt from The Way of the Shaman, which is a book by Michael Harner, and that's how he discovered shamanism. Wow, I'm getting so much feedback in my ears because I reckon certain energy didn't like me reading that out. I also had a vision where pardon?
What are you hearing?
Oh, no, it's just energy coming through my ears. It's just is painful. It's coming through the headphones, but
Okay.
it's just yeah, I just and I started coughing. So yeah, interestingly, it's the same vision as I had when I shamanically journey, and I journeyed one night, and I went quite high above the astral plane and the mental plane and the causal plane, and I was really quite high, and I saw a vision, and it was a giant, a massive giant, and it was fighting this serpent. It was half a serpent, and it was like had a dragon's head and like a dragon's body, but it was serpent shaped kind of thing. Its whole long body lapped itself round the earth, and it was breathing fire. And the god, I kind of got the communication, even though it wasn't from the god who was busy or the giant, that Odin, but then that might be, I was thinking that might be from, because I'm Aryan, it might be from my ancient roots and bloodline. But Odin, or Woden as it's called, is actually the Norse people's name for the All-Father, the creator, which is our actual father, because he created us. And basically this god was fighting with the serpent, and he was fighting using a sword and really fighting hard, and the serpent had its whole body wound around the earth quite a few times. And I've told this scene is called by the Norse people Ragnarok, and it signifies end times, and the end times when the creator has a final battle with the dark forces, and that during that I saw the same vision as Michael Harner. From the dragon's body, black sparks came off it, and they fell over the earth, almost like sparks coming off something that sort of, if you ever put out a candle and sparks sometimes fly off everywhere. There was like millions of sparks flying off his body, black sparks, and they were landing, and they were like bat-like kind of creatures. And it's the same vision as he had, sort of. So that struck me, and I've had that book for ages, but I didn't really read that part. And I read it the other day, and it really, so I wanted to read it on air because it really struck me. I have been experiencing these, what are Draco reptilians, quite strongly, and I have been experiencing all my life, actually, these Draco. I experienced them, I'm seeing I experienced them in my orphanage by the Vatican clergy who were there. I have memories of them shape-shifting into these Draco big bat-like, but I just thought, oh, they were interesting memories and probably not real, but now I know they are. And even on the astral, I've met this same man who was there when I was a child. Obviously, he is now dead. He's in the astral, and I communicated with him on the astral when I was shamanic. It's either called, traveling in the astral or shamanic journey. You can call it what you like. You can call it skipping along the sand if you like. It's the same thing, journeying shamanically, astrally walking. Same thing. It just means you're coming out of your body and going to different levels. And I'm sure more and more people will be able to do it as the energy rises, as the ascension occurs in these different waves we're getting of higher vibrations. I know I've become better at journeying and much better. I never used to be able to communicate with entities on the astral, and now I can do it at will. So, and I can call on them, which is interesting. So, but I found myself last week that this man, I thought was a man, invited me to his table. And the message I was getting wasn't very positive. I felt I couldn't see him or communicate with him. I didn't have any power. I was just really nailed down to this table, and he was looking at me. And I tried again to move, but I couldn't. And then after last week's show, it was interesting. I had Max Spiers on last week, and we were chatting. And then I went downstairs after, and I was just watching TV and having a cup of tea. And I felt in my mind's eye this entity was present, and I felt just extreme rage coming from him, and a feeling at my throat, almost as if someone was grabbing it, but not physically. And later on, when I was laid on the bed, I journeyed, and I knew who it was, and I called on him, and he appeared in front of me, and basically I attacked him. Then when I attacked him, I got him down and reduced him to powder, and the powder then erupted into a Draco, complete with their wings, and it scared me, really scared me, because I'm used to destroying whoever I want in the astral, but I couldn't. In this case, I didn't know how to fight it, and it did disturb me, because I felt very powerless, and I came back into my body, and I just thought, what can I do? Because if, they are quite powerful, they are supernaturally powerful, and I didn't know what to do. So I've actually spent all week looking at YouTube stuff on the Dracos. Max Spiers was going to talk about them. He says they're from Orion, and they contain this negative, poisonous certain energy, which is the negative feminine, and they are trying to feminize the planet by getting rid of because they're afraid of the true male energy. They're trying to suck it away from our planet and replacing it, and just making it redundant, and replacing it with this poisonous negative feminine energy. It really is. It's an energy that I've known since a child, and probably because I have been, pretty much. Oh God! In the programs, in the Monarch programs, the Black programs, they are run by the Draco. So I've pretty much been their bitch for most of my life, and obviously our governments, the Vatican, Jesuits, Illuminati, whatever the secret government is, in league with these Draco and believe them to be gods. They are not gods. Obviously, the Nakash is a god. It's a god of the underworld, and the Draco are the minions, are the angels. They are the fallen angels. We call them a certain name, but they are the fallen angels. They are the angels of the Nakash. They come out of the Nakash's body. They are one with him, like we're supposed to be one with Christ, but we don't really bother, or one with God, and we don't bother that. But these angels know how to go in and out of the body of the Nakash. So they are at one with the Lord of the underworld. This Nakash, this serpent that's bound around our planet. So they have the same power as a Nakash. So when you come across one of them in the astral, I just really didn't know what to do. And that's why I wanted to talk to Max Spiers about them. He's not here. I did talk to James Bartley, and he was like, well, you can get tensile rings. It just didn't seem. I mean, how does a bit of tensile ring help? No, I love James Bartley, but I just thought, oh God. And I was listening to James Bartley. If you Google him on YouTube, you can see him come up at the RepCon in Manchester, and he talks about the Draco, and he talks about them quite a lot. And interestingly, and he's written so many papers on them, but I still couldn't find about how to deal with them when you come face to face. I did find something on YouTube about a girl who was saying that more and more people are seeing them. I don't know if I fancy that. I've seen them in the astral, I've seen them in my mind's eye, but I don't really fancy one of them materializing in front of me. I really think that might be. Okay, we're going to break, so we'll be back in about 3 minutes, so hang loose, everyone. Thank you.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message. The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
I guess Christine's still out getting herself a cup.
Yeah, no.
Are.
I'm here, Patrick. Patrick.
I hear you.
I'm here. I've cut my hand, so wow. Oh, it's one of those shows they don't. Okay. I've cut my hand, which ouch.
How did you do that?
Well, it's bleeding really quite badly. Ouch. So I went into the back. I feel like crying. It's really quite sore. It's the summer house, and there was something on the floor. I picked it up, and it was a shard of glass. I don't know how that could possibly have got there. Because I thought it was grass, I picked it up and I stabbed it into my hand. I feel like crying. It's really quite horrible.
I'm sorry. Wrap it with something like a, piece of cloth.
Yeah.
Let it bleed though, because you want the blood to push out any impurity.
Really?
Yeah. Like the teeny tiny little shards broke off, the blood can flow that out.
Does it?
Yeah. Well, give it a few minutes before you really try and stop it. And the coagulants will start working anyway. It'll stop.
Oh, it's really painful. Oh. Wow.
One thing really to another.
I know it is. It is one thing, not another. I just got used to it. I sort of sitting there. I was like resting up in the week, so I was really stressed. And I was laying there. I burnt my face. I laid in the sun, but I thought, oh, I just, give yourself a rest. Don't stress. Don't stress about this. And just, gosh, it's not one thing. It's another.
Or you can put one stitch in it.
Yeah, it's just really throbbing. Ouch.
It'll be okay.
Thanks. Should be a big girl anyway. I just want to make sure it's I've shut the door and locked the door, but I just want to make sure I'm gonna have to go over it with a wet cloth to make sure, but I don't know where that would come from. Had a workman in, so maybe it's on the bottom of his shoes or something.
Oh boy.
Right, okay, where were we? Yeah, so talking, I was looking at James Bartley's lectures on the Draco, which are really quite interesting. He almost seems like he's the only one, him and Eve Lorgan, that are talking about them. And I've actually really, now I come to think about it, I investigated 2 serial killers when I was younger, when I was growing up. I was always interested in Brady, the Moors murderer, after reading a book and seeing on the cover what looked to me like a young boy. I mean, he was only 25 at the time of the murders, and it didn't really make sense to me what had gone on. But now, so I studied him and found out he had alters. I didn't know about the Monarch programs back then and how they use kids mostly that they've got from foster care or other kind of homes, children that are vulnerable and they haven't had someone really strong protecting them. And so what they do, they get these children into the programs. And I couldn't really understand when I looked at people sometimes that do that kind of thing. And they always have the adoption foster thing. And I thought there's a key there. And I thought it was to do with the mother that adopted them, that nearly always turns out to be quite demonic and quite aggressive. But what happens, the mother that adopts them is usually a host for this poisonous negative feminine, and it does create a man that's predisposed to violence, because it is such a secretive and poisonous energy that there's no way, it's almost like it's invisible. There's no way that you can fight back against it. The male energy fighting back against it would be to use fists, but obviously if it's coming from a woman, then you can't. So you just really, or anybody that's been at the mercy of this kind of energy, I know I have myself, that you really just have to suck it. You really do have to take it. And it's a completely soul crushing, it has the power to completely blot out humanity. If it gets a child when the child is just a vulnerable baby, it can completely destroy it. And this is what I noticed in these men that always seemed to kill when they were age 25. It didn't make sense to me. And I spent my whole life investigating it, and my whole life looking for something, and it was what had gone on with them. And I was looking, hunting, and looked in the murders that Jeremy Bamber carried out, and also in the Hillside Stranglings and Kenneth Bianchi. And I visited him, and I was trying to find out, what it was. And I saw it in my mind's eye, in an altar of Bianchi's that I could only reach on the astral, and it was a certain altar, and it was the clearly it was the well, I'm only guessing it was the one. Well, it wasn't the one that actually committed the murders. This altar of his that was only active on the astral, that didn't seem to come in his body much. It had a pet. And it showed me the pet one day, and it was this massive bat-like, again, they're bat-like, but giant bat-like creature with giant wings. I can only think of a vulture. If you look at vultures in the zoo, sorry, I think the bleeding stopped now. Vultures in the zoo, and you see those giant muscular wings. it had muscular, giant, as big as a house, wings. You could just see tiny bits of, and the feathers in the wings were woven and silken and quite beautiful, really. And I remember seeing that and thinking, oh, and not really knowing what it was, but thinking, wow, that's fascinating. And it was only when I was interviewing Eve Lorgan on the show that she said something, and she said, oh, the angelic looking ones, they're the ones with wings, the reptilians with wings, they're the Draco. And I thought, hang on, and she said the black feathery wings, and I thought, that's what that was. It was a Draco. And it almost feels as if, looking back now and having the experience I did with the man that was present in my orphanage, he was an American, but encountering him on the astral and seeing what he turned into or what he was hosting, because obviously bodies collapse there because it's a different dimension, that seeing that what he really was that. And it made me realize that through thinking, oh, with the serial killers, something has gone on, and looking for the core, that I have always been looking for them, and always I have been their enemy always. And that, I think, is why they tied me in knots as a child and basically used me. And basically I was going through life being used by something, and I didn't know what that was, and yet I could kind of smell them, and I have been searching to find them, to escape them, and to which I have, more or less, I think. And but then when you do escape their control in a certain way, then they get you in another way, like, because they are in control of this level, and the only people here that are having it good are the people that belong to the cults, and the cults, of course, worship them. And I didn't realize how strongly the cults control the astral. I suppose people had told me, but I didn't really listen, that the astral was dangerous and it was all on lockdown, but I didn't really listen. But then I've seen it, and they've actually got cities and citadels there, and they are divided into the different cults, and they have massive influence on what goes on here. So you see someone who's really rich, you know that he has helpers in the astral, and he is tied up with the cults in the astral, which are the different cults, the different religions, and mostly they are worshippers of the Nakash, which we call Satanism. But we dismiss Satanism as people chanting around with hoods on, but it's not. It's a whole thing where they worship the Nakash, the lord of the underworld, which is really the god of this world. So in a way, they see it as worshipping a god, where actually they are. It's a dark god, but it is a god who gives supernatural powers, masses of material wealth, power on this earth, money on this earth, intellectual power, technological power, really masses of power that can be handed out. So they make a decision to do that. And of course, if someone's saying, well, the old God has gone away and is weak and powerless, and look, I'm so powerful, then I suppose in some way you can understand where they're coming from. But actually, these Draco are really awful, poisonous, really terrible. And for me to sort of see them and to hear as well that other people are seeing them, as I was saying, I do see them on the astral, and I am scared of them, but some people are seeing them materialize. So I've been reading and hearing, and there was a girl speaking about seeing one and saying the way you can see one, and she says, well, you have to be ready, because some people will be really freaked out if you're just seeing them, a different race of a different race just materialize. It's going to shock you, because they are shocking. They've got wings and they're black and lizard like. And I actually really, if one materialized in the physical in front of me, that I would be really, really terrified, because they are terrifying. So I don't, and it's scary. They're scary. And James Bartley was talking about them, and I asked him how, if you felt very much under attack, how to protect. And he said about the sensor rings, and he mentioned a few stones, but I mean, I didn't follow his advice, but I don't know how they could possibly help. I was talking to a few other people who said, cover yourself in light. And I've been doing that. And I've also been calling on higher powers myself. There's a lot of, in the higher levels, there's a lot of entities that are adepts, and these adepts are, some of them, because they know that there's a lot of energy changing going on planet Earth, and there's going to be a coup, kind of a race to kind of rip this grid off, that they are changing sides. So there's a lot of that going on as well. So you can talk to some of the darker adepts and get advice from them about things, and they do give out certain advice. I had a friend, part of Basis, who said to me that had I done work on the part of me that I have shared on the show before that I couldn't get back, and that it was an astral warrior fighting the wars in the astrals, and I really didn't have access to that part, and I shared that a long time ago, and I do try now and again to get that part back. I have shamanically traveled to do a soul retrieval on that part, but I have found it impossible. I was sitting watching TV one night, and I saw an entity in my mind's eye that I have, who looks a bit like Ed Norton, who I have encountered before, and I felt their presence. And then later on, when I left my body, I went to where they were, and he said, "I've got a gift for you, follow me." And so I followed him, and we oh, Max is there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, we've got an hour, so you're okay.
Okay, I don't even know. Okay, you don't have any idea what's going on. Okay, all the light. Okay, well, all the lights went out in the area I'm in. All the lights went out. Everything went black.
Well, I'm not having a great time. I mean, I just cut my hand on bloody glass. There's blood everywhere. So it's been a weird show.
I was sitting talking to you, and then everything went black. Like everything went black. I couldn't see anything anywhere. And so Wi-Fi went out. And then so I got in the car, drove to a restaurant, and then they were still out too, and they're using a generator now to power Wi-Fi. So I'm here. Fuck. Excuse my language.
No, it's okay. I've said it quite a few times tonight. I think somebody somewhere didn't want the show to go on.
I think there's somebody somewhere who doesn't want the show to go on too, as well.
I was just sharing about the Draco and what to do. I've been seeing them in my mind's eye, and
okay. When you say Draco, can you give me a specific more, because when Draco comes from Drac, meaning rep or reptilian skin, which there are many types of. So when you say Draco, there's Alpha Draconis or Draco Prime, which are the higher top of the hierarchy. So when you say Draco, what do you actually mean?
Well, it was these entities. I was just sharing that these entities, they seem to have followed me from childhood. There was a man I remember, and I think it was probably a programmer, and I saw him on the astral, and I fought him, and he actually turned into one of these, it's almost like winged bat-like, but like feathers on the bat wings, like creatures that I've seen before. I saw when I visited the serial killer Kenneth Bianchi, his altar.
Sorry, the connection was very strange.
Sorry. He seemed to have one as a pet. I just read a piece from The Way of the Shaman, about somebody, a shaman, who saw them, and I was talking to Eve Lorgan about them. They seem to be just dark winged creatures. I thought they were Draco. No.
Yeah, those particular ones, okay, the ones you're talking about are more vampiric ones. They have like bat-like wings and more pointy ears, like white eye teeth, more acute sort of features, 12 feet to 14 feet tall.
Yes,
Yeah,
massive.
yeah. Yeah,
Where are they
they're not.
from?
They're not.
What
They're
did
not. They're
what?
not like alpha draconis, like reptiles. They're different. They're different. They're more like vampire type beings. They're more like parasites. They're more like fleas or ticks that sit on, the ones that sit on your skin, or mosquitoes. But if there was a micro and a macro, they would be the the the, uh, the particular thing that we're talking about would be a flea or a tick, rather than a one of those scuttling lizards or scorpions. Because scorpions, although they're not reptilian in being, they carry a high reptilian DNA in terms of their survival basics. So there is a difference. There is a difference, and there's an infighting between the two.
Is there?
There's a big, massive, yeah. There's a difference between the vampiric consciousness and the draconian. I'm having to speak quietly here. There's a difference between the vampiric consciousness that's here and the reptilian Draco consciousness that's here. Yeah, they're two different, specifically different consciousness streams. I'm just trying to put it in a way to make it clear for you.
Where do the ones with the big bat-like wings, where do they come from?
Where do they come from? They're interdimensional. They're interdimensional. So they are. Uh, they're not. You're not going to look out to the stars and find them. They're always here. So they're 4 and 5D. Usually 4, usually 4D. 4D is completely taken over. Completely 100%, in my opinion, taken over. So when people do ayahuasca and DMT, they're 100% putting themselves in a position of complete danger. And I'm going to say out loud that ayahuasca and DMT are negative and very, very bad to do. And it's new age, very, very clever a way of flipping the soul body out of the physical body and allowing another entity to enter very quickly.
Oh, I see. Huh. No, I wasn't going to. I wasn't going to take that. So these what do you call those creatures then with the wings?
I don't know if names are really important. Really, I don't even know if like names like names like names like human, like you say this person's a human, or that thing's a cat, or that's a dog. You mean like that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if they have a. I don't know if they have a name in the same way that we think of names.
Hmm.
I don't think they. I don't think they do. I think they probably have a identity. I think they have an identity, and their identity is a coded
uh, a coded sigil or word that identifies with them, but it doesn't fit in the same way that that's a cat or a dog or a bear or whatever. That's the best I can do with that. But I can answer any questions to do with them because I see them all the time because they're around all the time.
Oh, you've seen them, huh?
They're all yes, they're the main. Thank you. Yeah, they are the at the moment uh, more probably the dominant force, and
Oh, they are.
there's going to be people who are going to disagree with me with that. Uh, but in my opinion, they're the dominant force here, more so than the Draco hierarchy, which is there's probably 6 to 8 different reptilian DNA type beings. This particular stream that I'm talking about are more dominant than them. Above them there are above them, and above them are the Draco Prime from the Orion Queens. They're the ones at the top, Draco Prime. But they don't really get involved too much because they're doing their own thing. So the war and what's going on here is less important to the Draco Prime than for than the vampiric consciousness. Am I making sense to you?
I don't mind naming those creatures. You said you see them all the time. Don't you call them
Well,
anything?
when I say I see them all the time, I think that's a bit over the top. I think
Oh,
I
okay.
feel them. I sense them, and I'm very, very aware of them. How about that? They give off signature. They give off energy signatures that's so clear, that's crystal clear. The way that they address circumstances that come up, the way that they deal with people. They're very good at tricking. They're tricksters. They what they are. They are. I'm trying to think. They mimic. They mimic. They've been here for so long. They mimic human emotions because they don't have literal human emotions themselves. They've learned eons and eons human emotions. So they're very good at doing that. They're like the muscles and that. Outside of energy, that's a separate thing to take. But in terms of when I said I see them all the time, I don't see them. I'm just aware when somebody is somebody who mimics a human emotion, because I'm very clear when a human emotion is real or not.
Oh, right. Interesting. So what
You
do
should
you
be
do
too.
when you
You should be too.
what?
You should be too. It's not hard to tell. It's not hard to tell when someone's trying to pretend to show empathy or to be something they're not.
Right. Well, your
Especially
sound
now
is not that
vibration
good,
of
so I'm
darkness
not.
of this planet.
Say that again. Sorry, can you say it again? Because you're not clear.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, okay, I'll try again. Because of let's consider the fact moving up, and that bothers them. So it makes it more and more difficult for them to right? Kristen?
Yep, sort of. I can't get much. Patrick, can you hear Max?
It's sort of.
I can't hear you at all now.
Max is breaking up again. It's like close.
You're breaking up again badly.
I don't know. I'll walk over there.
Okay.
Max, maybe if you hang up and call back again like you just did, that might fix it.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was hearing it real good for a few minutes.
Well, that's quite yeah. So,
Hello?
that was. Oh, there he is. There you are,
How's
Max.
that?
A bit
Yeah, how's
better.
that?
Better.
Okay, wicked. All right. So, what I'm saying is, they have spent eons mimicking. Okay, so their obsession with chasing after the blonde blue or the Pleiadian blood, so that they can hold a human form to start, and then they spent eons trying to, because they don't have an emotional content as human beings do. Human beings are royalty, really. They have they're multidimensional royalty, even though they treat us like shit. They're terrified, really, because at the end of the day, if and it's coming close to it, when human beings realize what they are, then the mimickers fade away. They literally, it's not like a death, like a death or a stabbing or and like that. They just cease to exist, because beings like that can't exist in that frequency. So what they're doing is mimicking as best as they can, and to mimic, they take human bodily fluids and consume them, and use them to mimic that way. And that's their deal for that. That's part of it. I'm open to
And
questions.
what do you do if you come across one?
What do you do if you come across one? Well, first of all, you'd have to identify, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you?
How do you mean? So I came across
I'd
one.
say you'd have to identify.
Yeah.
So you're saying, what do you do if you come across one? Well, you'd have to identify if they were one or not. And there are shades. There are shades of grey. There are shades. It's not like a witch hunt. There's not like, there's one, grab it. There's percentages of. So and also remember, they're also frightened as well. They're also in a position of fear, and they live in it. They live in fear, because they're confused as to what they're confused. They're terrified. They're about to lose all their power. Um, and this is no defense of them. This is being empathetic to any entity at all. If any entity is living in fear, then that doesn't that's not good. So what do you do when you come across one? Come on, Christine, what do you do? You try and talk to them and understand them, and maybe help them, because perhaps they maybe need more help than you.
Oh, I was wondering how to kill them. Like, well, what's the best way to take them down?
Well,
You mean you
kill.
think
When
what?
you kill, what does kill mean? What is
Destroy?
so what's the definition of kill?
Destroy?
Destroy. And what does destroy mean? Because physics tells you nothing is created or destroyed. It only changes form.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So what do
Again,
you mean when you say destroy or kill?
well, I
Because
guess
that just
it
that just implies more negative energy.
I suppose it does. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. So the, I would say understanding is probably the best way to go with that one. Because otherwise you're going back to old school, like I said, witch hunt, like it's caveman-y. Like there's one,
Yeah, but
kill it.
didn't but did you say that you fought with James Casbolt on the Astral quite a
So,
lot? Why didn't you try and talk to him and sort of give him love?
oh, you think I didn't?
You did?
No, asking you. Do you think I didn't?
I don't know. To be honest, I really, really enjoy a good battle. I think there's nothing like it. It's
Well,
just like fun.
what is battle?
Battle. If you're battling on the Astral, it's fun, isn't it?
Well,
Because
no, battle astral or to um, crickets battling or to anything battling is two dualistic things fighting for what they believe in, right?
yes.
Which one is right and which one is wrong? And I think with that would be perception. So you brought me back to Michael, right?
Hmm.
And the question was,
Oh, you were saying you're supposed to turn the other cheek and love your enemy and not enjoy
uh, uh,
fighting.
hold on, when did I say turn the other cheek?
Sort of.
Give me the
You talk.
example of when I said that.
Okay, not turn the other cheek. Love everything better.
When did I say love everything better?
You're sort of. You're saying talk to it. Don't destroy.
Yeah,
Don't destroy.
understand, process, learn, move forward. Um, turn the other cheek. I think that's a little bit biblical. I didn't know you were going biblical, but understanding, perception is very important. I'm interested in your question again. What were you saying about Michael?
Michael. Oh, Casbolt, you mean? No, I said
Yes,
that you shared last week that you had fought him on the Astral nearly every
for a
day.
year.
So,
For a year, yeah.
yeah. So I'm saying I
I didn't want
assumed.
to. I didn't want
No,
to
no, no.
do it.
Yeah, I
I didn't want to
assumed.
do it.
I assumed that you were enjoying yourself. No, you weren't.
You think that I enjoy harming others?
No, well, no. I personally enjoy fighting on the astral. Probably I enjoy fighting in the physical as well sometimes. I used to do karate. It can be fun. So when you said that, I assumed that maybe, well, actually, I did know from the way you said it, you weren't
Okay,
enjoying
so
it.
let's look at that. That we're tying in fun with pain of others, right?
Are we?
Well, you just said that.
Yeah, okay.
I don't. That's not for me. I didn't ever want to do that. I didn't ever want to get involved in fighting against somebody who I had respect for and cared for, who had been through terrible, terrible, terrible abuse. Why would I? Why would I?
Mm.
Why would I? Yeah, I don't know. There's special people who like to do that. I don't like to do that, but I am a defender and I'm a guardian, and if somebody is attacking me or somebody I care about or love, then I will go and fight furiously. And I was set up to fight with Michael because they wanted to see which DNA was strongest, and
Mm.
they that was set up from years ago when we were kids, because it's a game. So
Mm.
they're trying to they take different species, and they take that what they believe to be the strongest of the species, and then they put them in circumstances or frequencies, and then they play them against each other to see who wins,
Mm.
to see who's the strongest. I think I talked about with you Mortal Kombat, the game Mortal Kombat, um, which the initials are MK, and
Mm.
there is a there's a sync with that too. So if you look at the especially the new ones, you'll see each one of the fighters or combaters are different species, sort of different species, female and males, and there's a man in a chair who would be a sort of a Pindar character who watches to see who is the strongest of the strongest.
Mm.
So no, I didn't enjoy fighting. No, listen, I love competition. I'm a competitor, and I love to win, but I don't like to hurt people that I care about.
Mm. No, so I was asking if you do come across an entity that seems dark. I just thought that the best way to deal with it would be to try and destroy it.
Well,
But
okay, so hold on a second. When did we set when did we talk about a dark entity?
I thought I had
We
mentioned
didn't.
one
We
earlier.
didn't. We didn't. We didn't talk about that. We were
Oh, right.
talking. Yeah. Um. We were talking about understanding that certain types of people or certain types of entities have um, different ways of addressing and different ways of dealing with circumstances. And you can't fight everybody that you come across that you think is dark, can you? Then you're going to create chaos, and that's what they want. So I want to know what you think. So what do you think, Christine? How do you feel about that? When
Well,
you feel, yeah, because you go through what you go through with Aquino and stuff, and the things you've been through, and he's entered your life and done what he's done. Um, how do you feel about that now? Do you feel does that still affect you?
no, that doesn't affect me. But what I was talking about when you weren't there was a man that I'd recognized from my time in an orphanage, and I had flashbacks of him making me watch him while he had sex with another man, and he had appeared in the astral and tried to make me sit with him and disabled me, so I was sitting there and couldn't get up and move. So I felt as if I wanted to attack.
How old were you, and what was the name of the man? If you don't have to say the man in the name, but how old were you?
About 4.
Wow, that's young.
Mm.
Where were you living?
In the orphanage.
Okay, okay, that's rough. Does that entity still enter your consciousness now?
Yes.
Because the name of the person you gave me a couple of days ago is connected to is a sociopath and connected to you, not connected to you, but you have karmic stuff with this, whatever that person, whatever that being is, and he's horrible. He's horrible.
What is the karma I have? It's not him. No, that's someone completely different. But
I'm just saying we probably just slipped into something else there. Tom, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, Tom then. So that person, yes, yes.
what karma do I have with him?
He feels like you did him wrong, and still are. He feels like you betrayed him, and still are. I don't know anything about your relationship with him at all. I'm just telling you because you asked me to look into it yesterday, and I
Hmm.
did. I did quite extensively, and we'll talk about that. I'll talk to you about that off, off air.
Hmm. I don't know how I could have. He doesn't know me. Basically, he was just someone who I was talking to
Yeah, but he
online
does
about.
know you. He does know you fully well.
He doesn't know me.
Right, right. But he does though, on another level, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's not a big deal. It's not a big
right.
deal. I'm just saying, like, okay, so everything is multidimensional. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're having a conversation in 3D. Okay, there are many other things going on in other dimensions at the same time, right? In the same
Hmm.
space, because distance, speed, and time don't exist, right?
Yes.
So if distance, speed, and time don't exist, for sure, they definitely don't exist. They're definitely all illusion. Then you can have enemies or lovers expresses you at the same time and influencing you.
So I don't know this person in this lifetime. You mean I've maybe known him before in previous lifetimes or something?
Well, it's not previous, is it? Because there's no time. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, but yes, 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 and no. In the continue in the infinite now.
Hmm.
Yeah, rough one to get your head around when everything is happening at the exact same time.
So what am I supposed
I
to
have a
do?
friend.
Like with
I
someone
have a
like
friend of
that?
mine who's. I have a friend of mine who refuses to uh, uh, understand that everything is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
happening in single
So,
moment.
so, so with someone like that, what should I do? Try and understand them, you mean? I have tried to understand. I do sometimes
Understand.
think of him and feel bad for him, actually. I do.
Well, okay, so what I felt then was it was like you were, and I'm not being rude, no disrespect.
No.
You're when I said understand, it was a little bit belittling when you said that. Understanding is obviously paramount to everything,
Hmm.
obviously, right? To
Hmm.
understand something would be critical to moving forward. Um, defend yourself, learn to defend yourself, um, and look into why you're drawing a person who looks like that and is coming to you like that. Why? Why would that person be coming to you like that?
I don't know.
Because I looked into him. I looked in I looked a little bit into his background, and I had a couple of people look into him in terms of what he looks like,
Mm,
and he's a psychopath,
mm,
and very dangerous, and somebody
mm,
to keep away. But you know, we draw things to ourselves to learn why, and why not to have them in our lives.
mm.
There's so many analogies I can give you. Like, I mean, a victim and an attacker. I mean, why? Often victims want to have people to abuse them because they want to have that till they've learned. I mean, it's like a thought prison. So there are multiple thought prisons that surround the planet, and then you learn through them, um, through experience. That's why you're here. You're not here just to chill out and sit down and have a good time all the time. I,
Well, I'm not having it any time, Max.
yes, you are.
What?
Yes, you are. I've seen you laugh. I've seen you laugh. I've seen you. You just did it. I've seen you laugh,
Yeah,
and I've seen you being
I
happy
know. I
many
do have
times.
my fair share of shit, though. I do have my fair
Okay,
share.
okay, and when you have your fair share of shit, it means you're hardcore learning. You're
So what am I
hardcore
learning
learning fast.
from Tomlin? What and by the way, I'm not his only target. He's been in prison for doing the same
Oh,
thing.
it's funny
To
because that name that
what?
to me. That name is so
Oh, I
significant
can't hear you.
to me in my life. That name is very significant to me. And what was the
Significant to
question? I'm
me.
sorry.
I can't hear you. Jesus.
Okay, I'll try again. That name that you just
Yes.
said is very significant to me. So I laughed, and then you were going to speak.
Okay. I
You were
don't know
saying
what
something.
I can learn. I don't know what I can learn from him. I mean, he just
Well,
kept.
what you can learn from him so
Yeah.
much.
What?
Okay, it would depend how much you want to how much you want to learn. What do you want to learn? If you don't want to be in a position where you're in a fear-based state and you are um, fighting and scared, then you step out, you block him, and I helped you with that, and you push him away, and then that's finished with, and then the only thing is you're going to, until you've learned what the reason is that he came into your life, there's going to be another version of him with a different face and different clothes, and he's going to come into your life, or she's going to come into your life.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can't cheat it, you see.
Hmm.
You can't cheat it. Same with me. Same with me. Same with me with Michael. I can't. Um, but I never chose to go. I never chose to go into battle with him. It was manipulated. I was manipulated into battle. There's a lot of people who love to manipulate me to fight, and push me to a limit, and then I'll go. Um,
Hmm.
it takes a lot of energy up, but you know, when in the early programs, what they teach you, the force right teach you is they teach you bloodlust, and they teach you that fighting is it's about survival. So it's about reptilian mindset. So it's about fighting would be the fighting and winning a competition would be the the ultimate survival and the ultimate. I'm just trying to think of the right word, Christine. Champions, I suppose, because every 100 years they do 100-year wars. Okay, so every 100 years they're doing a 100-year war. It's a hidden war, but every 100 years there's a war that goes on, and that's one of the ways they maintain the dualistic nature of the 3D we're in. Because if there wasn't war, there wouldn't be a duality. If everything was cool and you weren't angry with me, or I mean not you, but if that person wasn't angry with me or that person angry with them, there wouldn't be any dualistic energy to maintain the plane we're on. So to maintain this plane, they keep maintaining the 100-year war, one after the other, after the other, after the other. But they do like their breaks. So they're a 1,000-year peace. So there's a break where there's nothing but total peace, and nothing and nothing, and then back again to make sure that 3D is maintained. They want to stay in the same body for eternity. They want to stay in the same physical body for eternity, and continue to stay on Gaia, on this planet, for eternity. Reduce the population to the extreme. I don't know the exact details, and I don't know about the stones. I think the Georgia Guide stones are a red herring, but I think there are some decent stuff in there that give some gist of what's going on. But they definitely want to reduce the population because there's too many. There's too many people with no energy left, and they don't care about that. There's so many millions and millions and millions of people who have no energy, and to the two, in my opinion, fighting groups, the parasitic vampiric group and the Draco group, don't want to be dealing with beings with no energy.
Well, there's the show.
Well, thanks, Max, for coming on. The hearing the sound quality has been awful. It's not your fault, but
well, no, I know, but it's not.
thanks very much for trying.
Oh, anytime. No, I tried very hard.
I know.
As I said, all the lights went out in the entire street. There's a group that doesn't want me to talk about what I'm talking about because I exposed them.
Exactly.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.